welcome back everybody to another episode, no, to another season of Demystifying Deverson, the podcast.
Woo! Season 2, we're back with a new year, a new semester, a new vibe, and our very first guest for the semester is, please introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Wasiq. I'm a fresh graduate, which is a fancy word for unemployed.
Where are you from?
I'm from Pakistan, by the way.
Woo, okay.
So Wasiq, how did you find the university and why did you choose it?
I did not find this university. It was my dad. Funny story, I did IB, so in DB2, when everyone was trying to find out unis, I applied to the UK. They had some portal you had to go through, and also had to do the UK CAT. So I applied on that, forgot that you have to accept the acceptances.
Yeah.
I got into a few places in the UK, mainly for biomed, one or two places for medicine, but really expensive, like £32,000 a year.
Yeah.
Which the trajectory the Pakistani rupee has gone, hindsight, not bad, not bad. I didn't decide to come here, it's more like I'm glad I ended up here. The option I had at that point was, do I wait another whole school year and then apply for more entry cycles? And my dad, in the meantime, because he plans well ahead, I don't know how he found this uni. He was on the internet searching European medical universities. He found a place in Prague. He found a place in Romania, and I heard about gypsy jokes.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of my stuff was in Struggle.
Really? In Romania?
Gypsies.
Oh, okay.
Anyways. So at that point, this was the only option open to me. I did not know what I was getting into. I did not know anything else about the uni. One conversation I did have with my dad is when we were looking at this and the university in Romania, I was Bucharest, I forgot the name. The town looked quiet. I was like, I would not mind going here. So I finished my IB examinations around mid-May. Husker, the agent who also sent Zoya here, we got into contact with him. He provided us with practice exams, which is a fancy word for not any exam, and you get to pass papers, you will go get the same written exam. That's the first sign I should have known, oh my god, the quality of education here is going to be really bad. When the exam itself was the past papers handed to me. If I do that, of course, if you already know the answers, not because you're smart, but because you memorize them, you leave the exam hall early. Went from my oral part of the exam, and the woman asked me, like, what enzymes digest proteins? What enzymes digest carbs? Where does it happen? It's a small colon. I leave the exam hall. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I'm that done. My mom is looking mortified because I left the exam hall really early. She's like, oh, my son failed. He's going to do nothing in his life. And I was just enjoying the hotel buffet. She was in there sad. Same night, I get my acceptance letter, which should have also been a sign of things to come. If it really accepts you this fast. Anyway, so that's how I ended here.
Yeah. It's not very different from my story, actually. So, what's it like being graduated, or, in your own words, unemployed?
The day I finished my state exam, I told you this multiple times, it was just a very underwhelming feeling for me. I was like, oh, thank God, I'm done, I'm out of here. That's it. It wasn't happiness, it was more content. Like, all right, it's done and dusted. I called my dad, because, it's my parents' achievement more than mine. They invested in me. Then I called my grandpa, who I don't know where he was in Charlie. He didn't pick up.
Oh, no.
He called me back 2 hours later, and I told him I graduated. He's like, what is that? I'm like, I finished my degree. He's like, okay. I called every other relative I had.
Yeah. And to tell them, like, we have a doctor in the family.
Well, we have multiple doctors. Unironically, I think I'm his favorite grandchild for reasons I cannot explain.
Well, you're even more favorite now.
Now, post-grad, it's just running around getting a lot of paperwork to get the visa extensions and figuring out what I want to do here. Because when I came here in first year, my dad was talking to me about contact your uncle in the UK who worked there to get some futures open. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to pass this semester. And that's been my approach every semester. Like, let me pass this one. Let me pass this one. Will I pass this one? I never really thought I'd pass any of the semesters. I was genuinely surprised to pass anatomy 2, pass second year without. You see a lot of people around you, some who seem like they're put together, some are actually put together like money. It's been a while.
That's crazy. But you had like that sort of like immediate mindset of like, okay, I just need to do this. I just need to do this.
Yeah,
You
like
need
it's
to know,
just
it benefits the way my dad thinks to plan ahead, but you don't want to plan so far ahead that you tread on something that's right in front of you, and then you look like an ass.
Yeah, definitely.
You should take things step by step.
Mm-hmm.
You should also plan. It's hard to find a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the questions that I invited you here to ask, not just for myself and Haneen, but for our friends in our batch, is what is the format of sixth year? Because it's different from all these years and it's been changing.
It's probably going to change when you guys start.
I've been hearing weird things about it. Oh, did it matter what bulletin you were coming from? Like 20?
I have no idea, but also off mic, I will tell you one of the funniest reasons why the changes happened. Because
I don't think that you should say that one. I've heard that story. I don't think that you should say that story. But
anyway, so when my seniors did it, it was different for them, especially during COVID. They could do all their practices, then do all their exams. Allegedly for me, and I have no way of proving it, because I never attempted to find out if it was true, I could do 3 practices, then I had to do an exam. And midway, because I did my 6th year over the course of 4 semesters, that's something you're allowed to do, by the way, and 1 uni fee, you can get 4 semesters to do 6th year. Midway for me, they're like, now you need a supervisor, now you need to get reviews done by your doctor, submit them with your paperwork, and you cannot do the exam, you can't do any other exam except the current practice. I don't know how.
Except the current practice.
Yeah.
And reviews?
Basically, you know how you have a doctor that signs a document at the end, you need to give them more paperwork where, oh, how was he in this field? How was he in this field? They give you a 5 and everything they sign because they cannot be bothered reviewing it. They're busy, they have actual stuff to do. For me, it was as simple as do a practice, months later you can do the exam while doing another practice. I never tried pushing it more than 3 practices, didn't want to find out. Also, when I transferred my uni fee because of conversions, I was $20 short, so I had to go to the post office, mail them $20 because they would not accept credit card on campus.
Oh, that's great.
Then I could do my first exam, which was pediatrics. For you guys, I think it's different from my friend Buckler who's just started. And this is how he's getting around it, by the way. You have to finish a practice, do its exam, right?
Yeah.
Or what you can do is do 2 weeks of a practice, do a practice in between that practice, then do the 2 weeks of the practice, then you can do the exam. For some, that's
so you do like...
You mix and match.
You mix and match?
You don't, yeah, you mix and match. The wording, as far as I understand, is complete a practice, then you can only do that practice's exam.
Right.
If you don't complete the practice, you don't have to do the exam. They just do 2, because you can segment your practices. So they're doing 2 weeks here, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks here, and then going back, finishing that, giving the exam. Which one, the uni's definitely caught on to it, I hope. I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't, but they will change that rule when you guys do it.
Oh, no.
Hungarians have it tougher. They have to, the moment they finish the practice, I think they have to do the exam within 1 or 2 weeks of it.
Yeah.
So for them, it's a lot more planning, especially for bigger subjects like neurology. You have a 4-week practice, but it's like 230 topics.
230?
Yeah.
Of what?
A lot of it is stroke. A lot of it is headache. A lot of it is back pain. Honestly, like I think topic 168 till 195 is just lower back pain and sciatica in different words. I don't know what the format will be when you guys do it, because I know you have transfusiology now, you have emergency medicine as an extra subject, and something else.
And we have to do, I do know that we have to do emergency medicine and transfusiology here for sure.
Yeah. That's fine. And they've cut down some of their practice lengths, like I think gynecology and psychiatry are shorter.
Yeah, they cut every single thing by 1 week and then they put it into emergency. I think that's what they did, because when I looked at it like before, it was like...
Practice weeks are also longer, because I had 32 practice weeks in total. You guys have, I think, 33 or 34.
36, no?
Oh, wow, okay, even worse.
I don't even know. Yeah, that's crazy. And you just have to choose like whenever you're gonna do these and where you're gonna do them.
Yeah, I did everything on campus. Just I could not be bothered with the paperwork.
Yeah, I understand. Although I saw a senior of mine. She's Taiwanese, and she did her, I think, internal medicine practice or a chunk of her internal medicine practice in a Japanese hospital with her Japanese friend, not speaking any Japanese. And I was very impressed by that. I was like, okay, I guess that's something.
Well, I do all my practices here without speaking Hungarian.
And how was that?
I pull up my phone, more specifically, on my Tessék mondani, you have a sentence written, please answer in yes or no.
Oh, really?
So it stops old people from telling me their life story.
That's actually not that bad. I feel
also
like
sometimes I will tell you this off because it might impact my degree.
Pause.
Okay. Wasiq, since you did all your practices in Debrecen, can you tell us which are like the best ones and the worst ones to do here?
So there's two ways to look at it. You want to consider it best as in terms of education quality, or best as in you don't have to show up.
Best as in education quality,
yeah.
for sure.
Internal C, my nursing practice was actually one of the best ones because the nurses taught me so many practical skills, which I would then learn again in third year. Definitely go to internal C if you want to learn from the nurses.
Also something.
Nursing practice. Internal C, if you want to do your block practice, you show up on a Monday, you show up on a Friday.
That's it.
That's it.
Internal C, right? Internal C.
Internal C, you know, that's
yeah.
Jesus, I don't want to say the worst ones because I don't want to mention it.
Do you think OB-GYN is good? No?
Dr. Barna, he was my teacher for my 6th year practice. I do think he's one of the best people you can get there.
I know.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
Really. I need to give him a Witcher's mug, by the way.
A what?
He likes The Witcher.
Oh.
I have to give it to him. I'll find out when he's on campus. There are definitely, the only thing I just didn't like about the department was I had to be there for 9 weeks, and also it's just long hours. Also, I had to do 24-hour shifts. I had to do 12-hour shifts. But in terms of Dr. Barna specifically teaching and Dr. Singh and his morning seminars, those were good education. Like quality of education wise, that was really good.
Yeah, they also, even if you're interested, they take you under their wings and show you stuff.
You have to, something Barna asked me on my first day is like, do you want to be a gynecologist? I'm like, no, do you hate women? And I accidentally said yes, since my brain was on autopilot.
Oh no.
I'd like to say for the record, I do not hate women.
Your sister would be like...
It's definitely a thing where you have to go out and find the doctors, because if you're willing to learn, they're willing to teach. They also know if you're not willing to learn, they don't want to waste your time, they don't want to waste your time. One of the worst experiences I had in gynecology is as a woman's C-section. I was one of these, because I was scheduled to be there. They cut her open and just the amniotic fluid goes onto my shoes. Even though I was wearing covers, I had to throw that pair out.
Oh my goodness.
It smells like warm corn water. The worst
You hate that, but I love that because I've done that experience before, and
the worst ones, I really, really, really hate my dermatology practice. It's just because they wanted me there at 7 a.m. and they take themselves too seriously, in my opinion. Like, bro, you're giving corticosteroids. They have a burn unit, which is actually high stakes, so respect there. It's just, I was put there against my will because I signed up for internal at Kennedy, but it was COVID, there was some regulation, so they shifted me against my will to dermatology, and I hated myself for those 2 weeks. It felt like 4. Because I had to wake up at 5 a.m., be there at 7, because they were very stingy on time. They would not let you leave before 2. Sometimes they keep you up till 4. Definitely do not do dermatology unless you want to be a dermatologist. Special shout out to Dr. Mathias from radiology. There's no official radio practice, but if I message him like, hey doc, can I join you? He's like, sure, just come.
There's a freely chosen one, I think.
You can do freely chosen one, but I missed that part because I signed up for internal. Well, speaking of internal A, Dr. Peter Fulop is also a very good person.
Yeah, I know.
He simplified ECG for me to such a great extent. Clinical physiology was they made like rocket science, and I asked him, how did you teach me this better than the clinical physics? I'm an actual doctor.
Oh, burn.
I could find the axis in like 2 steps.
Yeah.
And I still have the notes he gave me for the ECG analysis. What else is there?
Neurology?
Neurology is actually really, really, really good. Dr. Ola's seminars in the morning, really good. Dr. Chiba, really good. Like, they actually know what they're teaching. They make it. The benchmark is if you know something about like Schwarzschild, for example, the man would go hours and hours explaining the peritoneum, and I'd leave more confused than I went in. the benchmark of how smart you are for me is like how easily can you dumb it down for me. They explain it so well. Like I still remember Chiba's bad blood, bad brain, bad heart, and electric flow, all of that. And Ola's favorite line, it depends.
We had a lecture with him just now, and he passed around a sheet, and we thought it was gonna be for attendance, but he was like, "No, just give me feedback, good or not good."
Yeah, no, a willingness to take feedback and act on their criticisms is also really important. Something a lot of the anatomy department would benefit from.
Pediatrics.
My pediatrics was wild, man. I'm not gonna mention the doctor or the sub-department, but at one point she's like, "I don't want you here."
Oh no.
She signed me for 2 weeks and I left.
Oh
yeah.
no.
At one point, the same doctor, by the way, I was there. They have an afternoon seminar. You have to attend a certain amount. It's a weird stamping
Yeah,
system.
you have to like have professor visits and like
All of that.
lecture visits, because I did my summer practice there for 4th year. And the first week they put me in neonate. It was so nice. All the doctors there like explained everything. They took me under their wings. They like said this baby has this, blah blah blah. Like we should do this, this, that. But then the other 2 weeks I was put in the normal pediatrics, and nobody cared.
There are really good doctors in pediatrics I learned under, especially, I'm forgetting her name. She's a very kind woman in endocrinology. Or nephrology, sorry. Her husband works in gynecology, by the way. Because they send me to gyne, and then they send me back. I'm like, a friend of mine, I'm like, do you know who this is? Oh, that's my wife. I'm like, can you sign me for her? Because I couldn't find her. I was also my practical examiner for my pediatrics exam. I had a nephrotic patient. The only reason I know is because I asked the parents. Anyways, I got sidetracked. Where was I? You guys have to help me. Yeah. Same doctor. I was the only student. She spoke English. I spoke English. She I didn't speak Hungarian. The presentation was in Hungarian. She gave it to me in Hungarian.
Oh my goodness.
Like, bro.
Oh my goodness. Pain.
Practices aren't necessarily good or bad, or they're just comes down to the doctor you get and your own willingness to
learn. That's true. That's very fair.
So as a graduate from UniDev, what are the future opportunities or like possible post-grad paths that like we have? And also, have you ever considered like doing your like residency here? Why and why not?
That's a lot of questions.
Yeah, no, first off, if there's future opportunities, do let me know. I'll start with the last question you asked. Tried working here. Yes, I did apply to radiology here. I got to the second round of interviews before I realized part of the paperwork they require needs my diploma, which I didn't have at that point. Because the way Hungary works is every February on their official website they release a list of openings with the HR's emails. So you just email them, and they will reply back to you if you've been selected for viewing. I got selected in Debrecen and in Budapest. Unfortunately, for the Budapest interview date, it clashed with my internal exam date, and the priority was graduating, not necessarily work. The only reason I want to work in radiology in Debrecen is because Dr. Mathias, I would love to work under that man. If you guys have done radiology, you might not have had him. He's super cool. He's really passionate about teaching me. Every time I've asked a question to just taught me, he's a lifesaver. I will probably apply again in February.
Okay.
I know future-wise, a lot of my friends go to the UK. Two of them are working here because apparently the GMC registrations at my firm, the NHS is A, underfunded, B, understaffed, so they can't go to staff if they don't have money.
Yeah.
People go to Germany, people do USMLE. I've loved the USMLE. I respect anyone who's done it. Don't want to bust my brains that much. I know some people prefer doing PhDs here.
Really?
Yeah. You could also do that as well. Honestly, I'm just as lost as you guys are at this point. That's how I can't believe I see.
Have you ever considered doing the UFMP or going to the UK?
No, never. First off, as someone who's been to America once, I'm like, I don't get the hype. I was in New York. I'm like, my cousin moves over, and I'm like, okay, and
I do understand actually.
Yeah, I mean the American dream is not the American dream anymore.
Yeah. I mean the American dream. So my mom told me my aunt's childbirth costs about $80,000. I'm like, oh no.
Childbirth.
Oh yeah.
If you don't have insurance, you're
you're gonna be like F word.
It's not,
Worded.
I'm not necessarily a fan of the healthcare system.
Mhm.
Uh,
Same, honestly, but I might go there anyway.
yeah, no, I'm not a fan of big, loud places in general.
Yeah.
It's a hustling, bustling city or something.
I wouldn't mind working in a small town in America. Assuming it's not too small.
Yeah, and assuming there's no KKK there.
And
or
yeah, assuming
cults.
it's safe,
Yeah.
and like
But, you know, at the rate, okay,
gun
this
control.
might be unhinged of me, but at the rate that we're going, I think you're more likely to be confronted with racism in the UK at this point, considering the
Ooh, I saw that
Oh,
recently.
yeah,
It was
the-
scary.
very scary.
Um,
It's also in the UK, I've heard like a lot of students from here have gone and not been able to work really well
Yeah.
because of the strikes, because of the underfunded, like,
it's hard to get placements unless you know someone.
yeah. But then there's a lot of people going to like other European countries like Germany and Malta.
Yeah,
Also-
Malta is super. Malta is a lot of my friends are there because you can do up to 2 years there, but then they kick you out.
Ah, okay.
And then you have to go to the UK from there.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
if you want a job immediately, I think Malta's a good place to try to apply for. And I think 3 people I know currently work there, and you're learning and you're making money. It's not a bad deal. I don't rather than staying on but for a year and a half.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends who have tried going to Germany, it took them a year post-grad to get in there because you have to do language exams up till you have to do your A1, A2, B1, B2, and then you have to get C1 or higher, depending on if you want to do psychiatry, for example. I think you need C1 or C2.
Yeah.
Radiology needs C1 as well because it's just a lot of writing and talking. Then you have to pass your FSP, and then there are some
You have
stages.
to pass an F. You have to pass
It's called an FSP. It's basically a medical exam, and just for them in German, where you'll get a patient, you'll analyze the patient, you'll write some blood reports, everything in German. It's not like it's different from the USMLE in that sense. It's different from the UCMLE. So if I have to do one, I'd rather do a language exam.
Yeah.
It's, You don't necessarily, but I think, need to diagnose the patient, but you just need to show that you can speak and understand and write. But someone who's actually going to the exam would be better opinionated on that.
Yeah.
What about in Hungary? Does radiology also require like perfect Hungarian?
So interesting enough, I was the first A international to apply to radiology in Debrecen.
Mm-hmm.
B, I was the first private applicant. I don't know what that means. I walk in, the head of department was there with like 4 other people, and he's speaking to me in Hungarian. I'm like, nothing. He's like, okay. The dude just tells me all the reasons he shouldn't hire me.
Really?
No, and he's very fair in that I speak no Hungarian.
Right.
I know, but because a lot of my friends got jobs around Hungary that I'm speaking there because they're desperate for people. B, he asked me, have you done any research? I'm like, no, I was too busy today. Like, why haven't you done any research? I was too busy passing. Which it helps to do a TKO2 if you want to work here. 3, he asked me if I had a Hungarian girlfriend. I'm like, no. He's like, then why do you want to work here? Because like most internationals that he knows that work on campus either are dating a Hungarian
Or married to
one.
Hungarian, yeah.
And I was like, thankfully, that's a very. Sometimes my brain doesn't work. There was like 3 other females on the board that was examining me, and I just thankfully I don't have a Hungarian girlfriend.
No.
And the woman thankfully just started laughing. They were all laughing.
Oh my goodness.
He looked through my recommendations letter. I got one from Dr. Matias, one from Csaba Molnar from pathology, who was in Norway. Also, I value the topic very well. And then me and the head of department swooned over Peter Molnar, not Csaba Molnar, not confused. And he did tell me he's not sure what he can do with me, which is why I was very surprised I got called for a second round of interviews. I'm like, damn. It's like, I'm glad I got this experience. And months later, you've been called for a second round of interviews. I'm like, damn. I don't have the paperwork for it.
Wow, that's cool.
So are you planning to apply again?
I will try again if there's openings, because I saw 3 openings, and I would again just love to work under Dr. radiology. But not want to do literally anything else. Maybe orthopedic surgery.
Ortho bro?
Yeah, what is hypothermia? What is a CCG?
I still don't get the ortho bro
Yeah, we were in
reference.
family medicine the other day, and he was asking each of us like, what do you want to do like in the future as a specialization? And one guy said orthopedics, and he was like, oh, an ortho bro.
Like, I didn't get it.
Ortho bros to be like baboons.
I'll
Have
send
you
you
seen just videos of intramedullary nailing? They're just like hammering.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send you memes. They're on Instagram.
Okay. Okay, so I'm behind.
Okay, what do you wish you had known before you came to Debrecen? And this is like the beginning of like the last segment of the episode.
Honestly, nothing.
Really?
I thought more for a next step where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
That's a very unique answer.
Yeah, actually.
Knowing what, I don't think anything would have changed the outcome.
Yeah. Do you wish you had known about like lifting earlier? Maybe no.
Oh yeah, lifting, sure.
What's a
Wasiq
lifting?
who got me to powerlifting. Because I was a 16-year-old.
She also doesn't know like about that.
I powerlift. I compete.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's actually really cool.
Had I met my current coach, Eric Mata, in first year, I would have wished I had that, honestly. Also, I wish I did dentistry. That's what the actual money is at.
But would you? Okay, no, sorry, no offense to dentists, but would you really want to spend your day looking at teeth?
Edward?
Teeth.
What?
Do you want to spend your day looking at teeth?
So yeah, if my sister is listening, you're gonna offend her.
It's not going to offend me. It's just bro, in Pakistan, dentists, the moment they graduate, they open up their own private practice or work somewhere, they make like 50K a day.
That's true, yeah.
It's a lot of money. I don't know, this whole debate about are dentists doctor?
I mean, I feel like they are a type of doctor. Like, why are you?
I personally do not care.
Why, like,
whatever you want.
I mean, they are doctors.
The last
They
thing I'm
study
going to
a
do as a
lot.
doctor is tell dentists they're not a doctor. Like, they went through 5 years of school.
Yeah,
They did, but then the memes
look,
in COVID were worse than dentists now.
Oh, no.
It's like the debate I hear a lot of my friends are like, is engineering harder, is doctoring harder? And they ask me if you ask me, I think engineering is harder because I cannot do math, I cannot do physics.
Yeah.
Of course, that's going to be harder for me.
That's
I mean,
true.
every job is hard. Every uni major is hard.
Yeah, in its own way. And especially for like a certain type of person, I feel like if you're a very book smart person, if you're a very math savvy person, like it really just depends on you.
Mm-hmm.
So do you really wish that you had just done dentistry instead?
Money's where it's at. Passion doesn't get you anywhere like money does. Unless you're passionate about dentistry.
Yeah.
Because I'm probably going to be jobless for the next year, whereas a lot of my friends who did dentistry have a job quickly. It's good career progression. You can do oral facial surgery as well.
That's true. Stoma. I'm going to ask you, like, additionally to this, pretty much throughout my uni life, I've been asking you questions. I just like text you randomly. I'm like, what is this? What is that?
I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for helping me out. And at the beginning of every semester, you usually give me like some kind of indication of like, oh, what you should think about, or what you should do, or what you should consider. Do you have any advice for 5th and 6th year?
What do you want? Do you want notes?
I do want those.
We will talk about it afterwards at Fine Tea because I need breakfast.
Okay. Easy. Is there any advice that you would give?
It would definitely help doing your practices in the country you want to work at. I know if someone told me you should do that, because I had no idea what specialty I wanted until after I did radiology. It makes it easier to get into those places if you have contacts established.
Oh, okay.
I think that's pretty straightforward.
And 5th year?
Yeah, no, start as early as you can. Ali Raza, my senior, he knew he was going to Germany from 1st or 2nd year, did all his practices in Austria or Germany.
Wow.
So that level of foresight, I wish I had that at some point in my life.
It does help to have a goal. I'm like really glad that I did my TDK in neurophysio at the beginning, in like 3rd year, because I feel like that set the ground sort of and made, Dr. Shiva more open to the idea of my thesis and stuff. So that was nice. But then you also told me once, I remember, that you shouldn't get too invested in a certain path, like too invested in a certain path.
It's like don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, because then you might change your mind in the end.
Yeah. My senior almost told me once, I left med school in 5th year, like, nah, this is not for me. I'm like, damn.
5th year is crazy. Like, at that point, just finish.
I told him I might do this thing. He was like, no, finish your degree. I'll make you finish your degree.
No, I know people who've left in like 2nd and 3rd.
I once did my pediatrics practice. It was a resident with me. He told me I was in surgery, but I switched to pediatrics.
Oh.
It's...
You know people who've done like left turns at the last minute?
Left what?
Like left turns at the last minute. Like they were always on one track and they're like, wait a minute, I want to
do this again.
Yeah. Me
I
when
mean,
I
I
become
feel
a
like,
GP, guys.
yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
You want to be a GP?
No, I don't want to be a GP. Mainly because I know that it's gonna work for the first 3 years of my career, but then the newer graduates are gonna get that job, especially like in UAE.
Family medicine. Really?
And also
Why?
in UAE, family medicine is mostly locals. So
No, because when Dr. Kolaswai was talking about it in his seminar, he said that as a GP, you kind of see everything and you don't have a boss. And I really liked both of those aspects.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's
oh,
it's gonna be really nice if you open your own like practice. It would be nice if you open your own practice.
That is a goal.
But if you're planning to work in a hospital, like it's not ideal. Like at least it's gonna work out for the first few years, but then you're gonna be replaced by the new batches.
I'm guessing at least 10, 15 years out of hospital before you your practice, if you built a client pool, you had experience, because no one's going to go to practice open by a fresh grad.
yeah.
And that's some advice also about financially get my seniors is that don't just focus on the medicine, focus on everything surrounding the medicine, pharmaceutical companies, or then medical technology invest in that.
There's a lot that you can do nowadays. You can do like social media, you can do content writing for medicine. There's a lot you can.
Yeah, and diversify, have multiple streams or something like that.
I don't know.
I don't want to turn it down your take on this.
Yeah.
I think the guy's funny. I do not take it seriously.
Last question. What would you like us to talk about in the future on this podcast?
I would really like you guys to bring on some of the doctors and nurses who've studied under. Specifically, I'm again throwing this man's name out there, Dr. Matiash Tetru from radiology.
Okay.
If you guys can get Dr. Barna from gynecology, that would be also pretty nice.
Do you think he would accept?
I hope they do. They seem pretty nice. They would do it. I know their
think
schedules
they
are
would.
packed.
Like I like when I first thought like, oh, I'll bring a professor on the podcast, I was thinking like international professors. But maybe a Hungarian professor would be down.
They have a bit more insight on experience on the city itself, on Hungary.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, Dr. Matiash has wild work. He's also a cat person. That's an immediate green flag.
Yeah, that's true. We'll definitely give it a shot. Maybe.
Yeah, sure. We'll try.
I would like Dr. Matiash myself.
Yeah.
This week, but then I chickened out.
Okay, easy.
But
We'll get somebody.
try,
We'll get somebody.
Yeah. No, this season is all about new experiences and
Yes.
unhinged talks. So we're gonna try.
Are we ready?
For coming and joining us for our first episode of the new season. And thank you guys for tuning in if you're still listening. And I'll leave the ending to Zoya.
Yeah, so we will be back every Saturday at 12 p.m. like we used to be in the previous semester. And you can find us, as always, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Thank you for listening.